Hello, Pewter people. Scott Reynolds here with another Pewter Pulse. Bucs undrafted free agent safety Shilo Sanders had a good NFL debut in Tampa Bay's 29-7 preseason win over the Tennessee Titans. Sanders had a tackle and a big hit on the quarterback in his first game in red and pewter, but has to do more in the remaining two preseason games in order for him to have a chance to make the 53-man roster. Time is running out on Shiloh Sanders. That's the topic of today's Pewter Pulse video. Before I get into what Shiloh Sanders needs to do to make the Bucs active roster, let me remind you, hit the thumbs up button on this video, give it a like, also leave a comment. Doing those two things helps us with the YouTube algorithm, gets us in front of more awesome Bucs fans like you. Okay, the Bucs play the Steelers in Pittsburgh on Saturday night in prime time. See what I did there? Let's talk about what Tampa Bay needs to see from Shiloh Sanders for him to make the Bucs 53-man roster as a backup safety. Now, Shiloh Sanders received some good reviews from the Bucs coaches and scouts for his training camp performance so far. But as I've mentioned in other Pewter Pulse videos on Pewter Report TV and in my reporting on pewterreport.com, he's caught up in a numbers game right now that might have him on the outside looking in when it comes to making the roster. Shiloh Sanders has two primary players that he's competing with to make the Bucs 53-man roster. The first is fellow undrafted free agent safety J.J. Roberts, who had a leg up on the son of Deion Sanders since day one in the offseason. While Sanders didn't have a draftable grade, but the Bucs scouting department, Roberts did, and was even given a top 30 visit by Tampa Bay prior to the draft. Roberts also has some guaranteed money in his rookie contract that Sanders doesn't. Roberts also has the advantage over Sanders due to his versatility. He's cross-training at nickelback in addition to playing safety, whereas Sanders is primarily a safety. And Roberts has made some splash plays in training camp and also on Saturday night against the Titans that Sanders really hasn't made. When Roberts broke up two passes, one he should have picked off, but the other one was tipped and wound up being intercepted by Tyreek Thunderberg. Now, Sanders did have a nice quarterback hit on a safety blitz against the Titans on Saturday night, and he finished with a tackle. But he also missed a tackle, and tackling was an issue at times for Sanders, who too often went in for kill shots rather than wrapping up ball carriers. Sometimes those kill shots would result in forced fumbles at Colorado, but sometimes they would result in missed tackles. Because of that missed tackle on Saturday night and Roberts' two pass breakups, Roberts had a slightly higher Pro Football Focus grade than Sanders did against Tennessee. The other player that Sanders needs to contend with in the preseason is veteran safety Kayvon Merriweather. Like Sanders, Merriweather is pretty much a reserve safety, not really capable of playing any other position like nickelback. And at 6 foot, 212 pounds, Merriweather is the biggest defensive back the Bucs have, so that's his advantage, whereas Sanders is 6 foot, 195 pounds. Merriweather also has experience going for him. He's played in 30 games over the past 2 years with 7 starts. With Tampa Bay making a push for the Super Bowl this year, having experience might give Merriweather an edge over an unproven rookie like Sanders. At the same time, Merriweather is known as a solid player, but not a flashy and splashy player. He has just 1 sack and no takeaways while playing the past 2 years for Todd Bowles. And Bowles has said he wants and needs more takeaways on defense this year. Merriweather does have a pair of interceptions in training camp that have helped his cause, while Sanders has yet to record a pick in practice or even force a fumble. But he did force some fumbles at Colorado, so he's capable of that. So what does Shiloh Sanders have to do in the 2 remaining preseason games to make the 53-man roster as opposed to being relegated on the practice squad? Well, he needs to make some splash plays of his own in prime time. Instead of coming in on a blitz and getting a quarterback hit, Shiloh needs to get the sack. Instead of coming in and throwing his shoulder into a ball carrier, he needs to wrap up and prove that he can make a sure tackle. And if he's going to come in and lay a big hit, well, he needs to force a fumble. Oh, an interception or two would also be helpful. I think right now, Shiloh Sanders has done enough. to secure a place on the Bucs practice squad, unless he just comes unraveled for some reason in the 2 final preseason games. Sanders is super likable. He is an absolute favorite in the Bucs locker room. He's popular with the players, and certainly one of the more popular players this year with Bucs fans. But this isn't a popularity contest. This is a football team, and Todd Bowles needs playmakers on defense, not social media stars. The problem with how he stacks up against Kayvon Merriweather is that Merriweather is a proven veteran and Sanders is a rookie. The problem with how he stacks up against J.J. Roberts is that Roberts has made more plays in camp in the preseason and is more versatile. Simply put, Roberts has been great while Sanders has been good. But there is a caveat. Roberts suffered a leg injury in Thursday's joint practice with the Steelers, and his status for Saturday night's game is unknown right now. Shiloh Sanders could get some extra reps as a result, and he needs to make them count. If it's a serious injury for Roberts, it certainly bodes well for Shiloh Sanders making the team then, but that's not the way that Sanders wants to make the 53. Now, there is a chance that another team might take a flyer on Sanders if he's cut and then picked up before the Bucs can put him on the practice squad. The Sanders name carries some weight, and the more plays that he makes in the preseason games, the more curious other teams might be about him. And that could lead to them signing Sanders to the active roster as a result. There's a big difference in pay between being on a team's NFL active roster and then being on a practice squad. So you can't blame Shiloh if he is cut and has the chance to go elsewhere and make a roster rather than staying in Tampa Bay on the practice squad. We'll see how Sanders fares in Pittsburgh and then in the preseason finale against Buffalo. Shiloh may need to channel his dad's interception ability and come up with the pick six, like fellow undrafted Bucs free agent Roman Parody had Saturday night in the win over the Titans. That would give the Bucs brass something to think about when it comes to their roster construction, and maybe a spot for Shiloh Sanders on the 53. And who wouldn't want to see Shiloh Sanders do the Deion Sanders dance on the way to the end zone? I know I would. Folks, you have been dancing over to Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate that because we've had some tremendous growth thanks to you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and also notifications. That'll let you know when I come out with the Pewter Pulse video, when we go live with the Pewter Report podcast. For more of my Pewter Pulse videos and the Pewter Report podcast and Matt Matera's Pewter Picks and Props and Adam Slavan's Top 10 Takeaways, go to Pewter Report TV. That's our YouTube channel for all of our content there. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report. And pewterreport.com, our website, has breaking news, all of the roster cuts and moves and transactions and signings, the game recaps, my analysis about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and more. And I'll be back soon with a new Pewter Pulse.